I'm certainly biased, but I've always thought that weather data is a great vehicle for teaching other science and math classes. And today's guest thinks the same thing. Ed Mansouri is a 1995 graduate of this department who has recently developed a science education experience that he calls Weather STEM that is powered in part by live weather data. Welcome to Weather World, Ed, and welcome back to Penn State.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
It's very good to see you again. Now, Weather STEM is actually a recent addition to a company you founded in 1996 called UCompass. So why don't we start there? Tell us a little bit about UCompass.
Sure. I actually started UCompass when I was a senior at Penn State, and I wrote a book called The Penn State Compass, which was designed to be an orientation guide for incoming freshmen and their parents. I then went to Florida State University to pursue a master's degree in meteorology, and while I was enrolled in graduate school, I was given the opportunity to teach. So I was teaching introductory meteorology to students that needed to complete a general ed science requirement, and my research in graduate school was very programming oriented. So I started using my newly developing programming skills to put my meteorology course on the internet. I recognized the opportunity to turn that into a standalone e-learning software that anyone could use to teach, and I had come up with the name Compass, UCompass beforehand, and I developed the company to market that software for the last 15 years.
And so the U is intended to mean university.
That's correct.
And so you eventually, what you developed at Florida State grew into a large-scale learning management system that other universities kind of latched onto.
Yes, that's correct. Over the last 15 years, about 3 million students in K through 12 and higher education across the United States and parts of Canada have used that to learn not just in meteorology, but a number of other programs.
Okay. So one of the interesting spin-off applications along the way that kind of allowed you to tap into your meteorology background was a product called agroclimate. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, sure. In 2003, I met up with a former professor of mine from Florida State University, and he shared with me a grant he had received to take agricultural data from the University of Florida and climatological data from Florida State University and build a tool that could be disseminated to agriculturalists in the southeastern United States to help them with decisions such as when to spray, when to harvest. He asked me if I wanted to develop the software for the project, so I jumped at the opportunity, and that sort of was an interesting way to merge together my programming skills with my background in atmospheric sciences.
All right, so let's get to Weather STEM,
Sure.
the latest initiative from UCompass.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics.
Yes.
Your idea is to create an interactive, immersive K through 12 STEM curriculum with a heavy focus on the weather. Tell us about that idea.
Sure. So actually the STEM in Weather STEM has two meanings: science, technology, engineering, math, and also STEM like stem of a plant, because our curricular emphasis is both on meteorology as well as agriculture. So what we do with Weather STEM is we set up a weather station at a school that measures solar radiation, rainfall, temperature, pressure, all the standard variables you'd expect. And we also install a unit that measures soil moisture, soil temperature in a garden or growing area. Then we connect that device to the school's network, and every minute we take data and upload it to Weather STEM. Meanwhile, we also attach a cloud camera to the school building that snaps a picture of the skies overhead, usually facing west so we can see approaching weather, and it ties together the data with the media, and then we take that data and overlay it with STEM curriculum. And we're specifically focusing now in the K through 12 arena.
Right. And I noticed as I was reading up on Weather STEM, you like the idea of introducing K through 12 students to the concept of big data and
Yes.
also a little bit of computer programming, which, given the way the meteorology field is going, those two ideas are absolutely fabulous to introduce at that level.
Thank you. Yes, we want to introduce students at as early of an age as possible to the concept of data mining, which we think is going to be a very critical next generation job skill. So one of the tools in Weather STEM is a data mining tool where a teacher can direct his or her students to go mine data over specific time periods, specific data from specific sensors, and they can either download it into Excel and then learn how to do different statistical operations or plot it on a graph. Then we also have something called an API, which stands for Application Programming Interface, and it enables students to learn how to code, pulling data and images from their school's weather STEM unit.
Very nice. So we have about 30 seconds left. I'm sure that many of our viewers are educators. If this sounds interesting to them, what can they do to get more information or get involved with WeatherSTEM?
Go to our website, weatherstem.com. There is a demo. You can actually see the live platform we set up for one of the school districts we're working with in Florida. And there's a way to contact us, and we'd love to hear from you and try to bring this project to Pennsylvania.
All right. Ed Mansouri, 1995 graduate of our department. Welcome back, Ed, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back in a moment with a recap of the short-range forecast.